Recently, 3 trees were cut down on the road I live on. The trees were all growing on the parking, the green space between the curb of the road and the sidewalk, so they belonged to the city. I think the trees were 50 to 60 years old at least, but it didn't take much time or manpower to bring them down. 2 trucks pulled up the first day. One had a crane and a basket on it, and the driver got into the basket with a chainsaw and did all the cutting. The other truck was a big hauler with a trailer behind it, on which there was a chipper. The driver of that truck gathered everything the other man cut down and threw it into the chipper. Between the chainsaw and the chipper, it was a noisy, very efficient operation. By early afternoon, all that was left of the 3 trees were 3 20-foot-tall trunks. The 2 men raked up some leaves and twigs, threw that into the big hauling truck, and drove off, leaving the 3 big trunks stripped and forlorn. The next day, 1 truck showed up with 1 man. The truck had a big hydraulic claw and a loading bed. The lone man cut the 3 trunks down, lopped them into pieces, loaded them onto the truck. It took 2 full loads, and had this done before noon. This time when he drove away, there were 3 low stumps, looking like grave markers. About a week later, a truck arrived with one of those big grinding wheels, and in a few hours all that was left of the stumps were 3 large mounds of bark and sawdust. Not really much to celebrate 60 years of growing. I'm sure the trees were past their prime and had to come down. I hope the men were able to cut good straight lumber from the trunks, or at least bucket into firewood. Over the years I've gotten used to those trees lining the street, and it was a shock to see them so quickly gone, reduced to clumps of rubble, and it made me think of the children's classic story, The Giving Tree, which I didn't remember very well, so I went back and read it. I say it's a classic, and I think it is considered to be, but I don't know how much of a children's story it is. It is, in a way, a pretty brutal tale, like something out of the Brothers Grimm. Initially, there's a carefree friendship between a boy and a tree. The tree cares for and loves the boy and never calls him anything else, no matter how old he becomes. And the boy does grow up, gets on with his life, abandons the tree. Whenever he does come back, it's because he wants something, and the tree gives it to him, apples, branches, even her trunk. The boy takes these things without so much as a thank you, but giving makes the tree happy, even when it's just a stump. The boy just uses the tree. On his part, it's pure exploitation. The story ends with the old man needing a place to rest, and the tree provides her stump, making her happy once again. The story is said to be a charmer, but I would not read it to my children. And if I did, when I was finished, I would say, "Boy, that tree is really stupid, and the boy is a douchebag." The kids would wonder what a douchebag was, and that would be the educational lesson for the day, the teachable moment, as they say. So all would not be lost. The story is a perfect parable of the liberal dream of government, the welfare state gone mad, which gives and gives and gives to a population that never grows up and becomes productive because it doesn't have to. It will be coddled and cared for. Sustainability, a big modern buzzword, is not an issue here. Tree and boy form a perfect pair. The tree is endlessly caring, and the boy is a clueless dipshit. We can discuss the meaning of dipshit, if you like. I can see the author of the story writing another, The Stimulus Package, about a wonderful box that contains anything and everything a boy or girl could ever want. The tree in the story is luckier than the 3 trees on my street. It had a stump ready for the boy when he needed a seat. All there is here now on my street are 3 wet heaps of ground-up wood. Maybe someone will use them for mulch, and the trees, if there's any life left in their roots, can feel a final shiver of happiness.